What is up, ladies and gentlemen? You're watching another Madman film breakdown right here on the Madman Sports Network. I'm Brian Sullivan, and today we're talking about one of the most polarizing prospects in this entire draft class, the quarterback out of Wyoming, Josh Allen. Some of you love him, some of you hate him, and there really feels to be no in between. It feels like either you think he's a first-round pick, or you think he's an undrafted, worthless bum, and that you either think that he has the strongest, best arm of all time, or that he is incapable of completing a 2-yard throw. And there's no in between. And I'm here to show you that, believe it or not, you both have some points. There's some good and some bad. So I'm going to show you the good first, because I generally try to be positive with these prospects, and then I'll show you the bad. I'll show you why people love him, and then I'll show you why people hate him. And when you mix them together, I'll show you why I think, personally, he's a solid day 2 project quarterback that's absolutely worth taking in the late first round. I would put a second round grade on him, take him in the second round if maybe you're a team like the Saints or the Chargers or the Steelers or the Giants, and you want to draft a project quarterback to sit for a year or two. Great. He could be very good someday. Let's start now. Ready? Pull out your Josh Allen bingo cards, guys. I'm going to get the big cliche one out of the way. Have you heard that Josh Allen has a strong arm? I bet you haven't. No, of course you have. But I still have to go over it because that's what I do. And I'm going to show you a few examples, not just of him being able to throw it deep, but of him being able to make some of these across-the-field throws that look pretty easy, but are actually tougher than they look, and he makes them look very easy. So here's one right here. You'll notice he's lined up on the right hash right here. Even though, and this is something he needs to work on, he stares down his receivers, which kind of anticipates where the throw is going to go. He still manages to deliver it all the way across the field to the other sideline, and there's still so much separation between his wide receiver and this corner. Now, the corner does eventually come in and break through, but that's just really good arm strength right there. Yes, he was sagging off, but this corner had plenty of time to react, and because he got it there so quickly, there was still some separation. Here's another one right here, again on the right hash, going the other way this time. Manages to throw it only about 10, 15 yards down the field, but across the entire field right there. Again, gets it with plenty of separation, picks up a big first down. Now, obviously, they were down by a lot. Defense was sagging off, but still, it's just that quick delivery. He manages to get there very fast. And now this last one's very impressive right here. Still down by a lot. This game against Iowa was not good overall. Right hash marks again. Little pump fake right there. Delivers just a strike about from the 40 to the 30. So about 30 yards down the field, but across the field. That's not a very easy throw to make, but he gets it there so quickly that the receiver's able to make a play before the cornerback can get in there and break up the pass. So there you go. That's really it. His arm is as strong as advertised. Now, because his arm is so strong, he's really able to fit the ball into some tight windows, especially even when he's running, even when he's throwing off balance or off his back foot. He's able to deliver really quick strikes into the receiver's hands, and oftentimes he actually does it more often than you'll hear. Twitter will tell you that he couldn't hit, the ocean if he was throwing it from the beach because his accuracy is so bad. That's not quite true. He has shown, accuracy just on an inconsistent basis. So here's a few examples. Some will be more impressive than others. This one, pretty nice throw right here. Rolls out, finds his receiver, and just throws a dart right to him. Not great coverage, but if you watch this other angle here, even if that cornerback was a little closer, just look at that perfect ball placement. Even if the corner was right here, this receiver could have made that catch. That is as perfect as it can get. Again, he's running off balance. Looking back at this one, let's just take a look at that one more time. Play action, rolling. Again, throws off the back foot right there and could not place that ball more perfectly in the red zone. Gets it into his receiver's hands. And again, I know that this isn't great coverage, but this is proof that even if this was a better corner, an NFL corner who was really tight on him, he would have completed that ball to only where the receiver could have caught it. That's a really nice throw. Here's another one right here. It's quick, pressure coming in. Again, he's off his back foot, and he just delivers it right into this receiver's hands. Double coverage, 2 defenders very close to him. Because he has such good velocity on that ball, even though this corner's right there and has time to react, he just delivers it perfectly right there before the corner can get there. A weaker-armed QB might have tried to make that throw. That might get batted down or picked off. But because his arm is so strong, he's able to do that, again, even when being pressured, even when throwing off his back foot. And that's a really tough throw to make. Not many quarterbacks in this class can make a throw like that. Here's another one right here. Notice the situation as well. 8 seconds left in the first half. Wyoming down by 7. Again, he actually has time, delivers a perfect strike to the sideline right there, where the receiver is still able to keep his feet in bounds. Now again, he takes some time. He stares down his receiver for too long. He waits from the break. Maybe if he had timed that throw better, he could have gotten it there sooner. But even though this is pretty good coverage, and he kind of finds it late, he still throws it perfectly in there to where the receiver is able to keep both feet in bounds. An NFL receiver would be able to make that throw. Here's another one right here. Sees his coverage right away, throws it into double coverage. Again, that's a dangerous throw, and we'll get to his decision making, but because he has such a good arm, again, he's able to get it right past this defender and get it before this defender right here, the help defender, can even make a play on the ball, can even react. Again, if his arm wasn't quite as good, this defender might have come in, batted that ball down, or picked it off, but he can take some risks like that, and that's kind of why his strong arm is so useful, is because occasionally he can take risks like that and just fit the ball in there, and that's what you got to be able to do. Those are some NFL throws you're going to have to be able to make. And some of these throws, by the way, against Nebraska are from 2016, but that was, I figured it was fair to show you some of those plays because that was when he had a slightly better supporting cast, and lo and behold, he was a better player back then. And here's another one right here. This isn't so much a really tight window throw as it is just a nice touch throw right here. Delivers the ball right in this receiver's breadbasket. He can't catch it. He ends up dropping it. This is not a perfect throw. If I'm going to be nitpicky, I could say maybe he could have let him just a little more, maybe out here. But still, he gets it past the defender. And again, this ball goes right into the receiver's hands, and the receiver just ends up dropping it. That could have been a nice big play, especially on 3rd down and 14. Again, maybe could have been thrown a little better, but that's still a very nicely thrown ball for a college prospect quarterback. He is more accurate, again, than some of you guys think. Now, I know what I've shown you, it might not necessarily have convinced you yet that he's worthy of a 1st-round pick, or even a 2nd-round pick, honestly. Some of you might be thinking, well, that doesn't change the fact that he had some horrible accuracy issues, and we'll get to those, by the way, don't you worry. But what makes him special, and one of the reasons why I can see why he's being touted as a possible top 5 pick, top 10 pick, one of the reasons why I was very high on him initially, until I kind of took a deeper dive, are because sometimes he just makes some very special throws. Throws, the same reason why I love Sam Darnold so much. Josh Allen sometimes makes even more impressive throws. So here's a few examples of just when he's throwing, again, off balance, on the run, the types of throws. Again, I keep mentioning him, but there's a reason why he's the best in the game. Aaron Rodgers, the types of throws that Aaron Rodgers can make that just add a different dynamic to his game. So first one right here, a little play action. This one's the least impressive of the bunch. He's running, getting pressured here clearly, very off balance, is rolling backwards, finds the open receiver, gets the ball in his hands. I know that's not crazy, but every now and then, once the pressure starts coming, more linebackers and linemen can start coming in, abandoning their assignments. In this case, he's wide open. He's able to find it. Instead of taking the pressure, instead of just throwing away, he's able to find that open receiver, maintain his eye contact down the field, and instead of just bailing on the play when he's under pressure, he can occasionally make a play like that. So this one's very impressive. Ball is coming, ball is snapped, pressure coming, he does a good job of avoiding it, stepping up in the pocket, on the run, throws it deep, finds the wide open receiver. Wide open, I understand that, but he's running forward, he's about to get hit, he still manages to find him, throws a perfect ball right there, and the receiver just ends up dropping it, and it ends up not being a catch. So as much as you want to destroy him for his tape against Iowa, and it was some bad tape, in general, he made some very horrible plays. He made a few really dumb ones that we'll get to, but you can't just ignore something like that. That's very impressive right there, that even while he's stepping up in the pocket, he doesn't even need to reset his feet or anything like that. If he sees the open receiver, he'll find him, and he'll get him the ball. That's also why we all loved Carson Wentz so much coming out of college, and why we love Carson Wentz now going into next year as well once he recovers. This is another one right here. You can tell he was rolling out, kind of started this footage a little too late, but notice here he's off bounds, feet are completely not set or anything at all. He's at the 40-yard line, doesn't have a chance to reset them with this pressure coming in. He just launches it. Look at that. Gets it right into the receiver's hands, right past his defensive back. Now, could an NFL defender maybe make a better play on that? Absolutely. Could we be nitpicky and say the ball maybe should have gone a little bit more into the back right corner so he could have caught it in stride? Of course. But with the balance issue he had here, the fact that he had to throw it off his back foot, that's a 50-yard, nearly perfect throw, off balance, under pressure. Again, it's not perfect, but this is why he's being touted so highly. You can't just ignore plays like that as much as you want to hate on Josh Allen. This one's a little less impressive than a lot of the other ones, but he's kind of stepping back, sees the pressure coming, and just kind of lobs it up, finds the matchup of it with his fullback against the linebacker here, the safety. Either way, he finds the matchup, and the fullback's able to dive forward and make the catch. Now, you see this defender here coming in too. I'm almost wondering if he intentionally kind of like laid that lower so the fullback could dive forward, or if it was just really fortunate. Because if he threw that a little higher and out more, his fullback might have ended up getting crushed. So I'm not going to sit here and say Josh Allen's a wizard and he saw everything there and did that perfectly. I can't say that. I think it was more of a slightly underthrown ball that ended up luckily resulting in a better play than if he had let him. If he had let him a little more outside again, maybe the fullback could have caught it in stride away from this defensive back and kept going. I'm not entirely sure, but what I do know is he was under pressure. He had to throw off his back foot again in the snow as well. Let's not take that little factor away. It's not much, but that just goes to show that with his strong arm and his ability to play in cold weather, that he can be drafted by a team like the Browns if they so choose to take him number 1 overall. I don't think they should, by the way. Or, God forbid, a team like the Ravens. I'm just kind of saying, or the Steelers, for example. Cold weather teams. The Bengals, even, if they want to try and make a move. Notice I'm just talking about the AFC North at this point. Anyway, ball is thrown up there. Pretty nice throw for being off balance. And then here's one more right here. And again, this one's a little interesting, but he's rolling out. Rolls out to the right. Pressure coming in his face. And again, off balance, off his back foot. Throws it about 30 yards down the field. Lets his receiver times it kind of perfectly, where he lets his receiver jump up and high point that ball. That's going to happen in the NFL. You're going to just need to throw it up there and put it in a position where your receiver can make a play. And he does a really nice job there. Receiver made a really nice play there as well. You didn't see that as much in his final season at Wyoming because his receivers weren't quite as talented. That's a really nice play. An NFL receiver will be able to do that. That's good timing, good chemistry with his receiver. Again, could an NFL defensive back have maybe broken this up, especially an elite one? Absolutely. But that doesn't change the fact that that was a really impressive, about a 30-yard throw, a little more, 35-yard throw down the field on the run, off balance, into double coverage as well, too. So from basically what I've shown you, he's very impressive, right? In fact, almost all of these pros, and some of the other pros I haven't talked about as much, just like his size, for example. Good size, good, nice, thick quarterback that doesn't look like he'll be injured very often. It seems like he can be durable. He basically feels like Darnold-like, correct? I mean, honestly, he kind of does, based on what you've seen. Here's the problem, and it's not just the supporting cast. It's what I wanted to say at first, but there were times when it had nothing to do with the pressure in his face or nothing to do with his receivers. He just flat out has some really inaccurate throws, and I'm not talking deep throw accuracy, because I did find one, for example, where it was like a 50-yard throw, and he just slightly overthrew the receiver. That's fine. NFL quarterbacks are going to do that. I'm not going to fault him for that. But just some really easy throws that he makes look very difficult. Very strange, because he made some very difficult throws look easy. So here's a few examples right here. Watch, here's the target. Kind of a little fake delay where it looks like he's just standing out of the play, and then he kind of runs. Josh stares him down, just completely overthrows him, doesn't put it even close, and then the ball nearly gets intercepted. That's just, he's right there. Throw it lower. If anything, throw it a little too low. You don't want to overthrow a play like this, and there's no need to bullet it either, because even maybe if he had thrown it a little softer, even though it was off, maybe the receiver could have tried to bring it in with one hand. But that's just a horrible throw. I don't know why he did that. Here's another one right here. These are the ones that really threw me off the most. Remember how, if you saw my Darnold video, I said that he kind of struggled sometimes when throwing to RBs, running backs out in the flat. He struggled sometimes to lead them. Well, Josh Allen takes that to another level. Just watch this right here. Here's his receiver. Boom. Just completely overthrows him. So much space there as well. Now, maybe the running back could have been running a little more instead of looking back so soon, but still, a little more touch on that. You should not be throwing that so far out of the running back's range, especially when there's that much open space. That could have been a nice big gain in Josh Allen. If you're going to mess up easy plays like that, that's going to really hurt you over the course of an NFL game or a season. Here's another one right here. Has his receiver right there and just completely overthrows him. Just completely misses him. Now, that time, at least, there wasn't quite as much space. But if he had lowered it, gotten the ball in his hands quickly with that strong arm, maybe the receiver could have caught it, built up some momentum, and picked up some yards. So here's a different play right here. Notice, this is going to be his target right here. He's staring him down. You can see Josh Allen staring down his target, waiting, and finally throws A, underthrows it. Defensive linebacker nearly picks it off. And B, it was just a bad decision anyway. Now, maybe if he had utilized his eyes a little more, maybe looked downfield a little bit more here, he could have drawn this linebacker away, especially if this was any sort of zone coverage, and then he could have thrown that ball, or he could have just let him a little more right here. This defensive back would not have been able to react in time. Both an inaccurate throw and a poor decision based on his lack of being able to look off some of these defenders. That's really, so this is kind of a double issue. We'll also talk about some of the questionable decision making in the next segment. This is the worst, by the way. One more of these flat throws that he makes. This one, not only does he miss his target, he throws it backwards. Now, that running back should have caught the ball. Do not get me wrong. Even though it was a bad throw, he throws behind him. A collegiate level running back even should be able to bring that ball in and only end up losing a few yards. But because he threw it behind him, not only does it result in an incomplete pass, it results in a fumble, and Nebraska ends up with the ball. And that was really a game-changing play right there. Josh Allen, in this game against Nebraska, was actually playing really well. Don't get me wrong. And if they had maybe scored on this drive, suddenly you have a really good game again. And this is just a bad turnover. If you're going to overthrow him the way you were earlier. Throw it in front of him. Lead him. This is a really bad throw right there that I could not forget about. And here's this last one right here. He has this receiver running just like a little, I believe it's just a little hitch route. Overthrows him, and that's just bad timing. Really, the ball should have been out of his hands, you know, before the receiver even, like, the ball should be out of his hands basically right now so that the receiver can turn around and have the ball right in his hands. Instead, he waits. By the time the receiver turns, that's when Josh Allen lets the ball leave his hands, gives the defenders plenty of time to react, and he overthrows him anyway so the ball doesn't even end up in his hands. So those are the reasons why Josh Allen is being hated by so many people. Now, I don't know why we're not acting like, you know, Sam Darnold or Josh Rosen or Lamar Jackson or Baker Mayfield have ever thrown an incomplete pass. I feel like we're acting like they're all perfect and Josh Allen isn't. But that doesn't change the fact that some of these are really bad throws, and he's going to need to fix that. Now, another thing I want to talk about now is how sometimes he just has mental lapses on the field, and he makes some questionable decisions. That's putting it lightly, honestly. Some of them are just horrible decisions. Some of them are kind of questionable. Some are horrible. Now, the good news is you'll notice, besides this first play, a lot of them are when they're already down by a lot in the fourth quarter, and at that point, I can't even fault him. I've seen, you know, Phillip Rivers make horrible decisions in the fourth quarter, and he's going to be a future potential Hall of Famer. I've seen Peyton Manning make some questionable decisions. You've seen him make some questionable decisions in the Super Bowl, and he's one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. So, mental lapses, it happens, but you still have to point it out. It really is a weakness, and here's a few examples. This first one, kind of the least offensive, but still, especially on a 2-minute drive, they're at the 50-yard line. They're keeping it close with a Power 5 team in Iowa. He runs back, runs to his left side. Now, right here, defender's in his face. He obviously doesn't have anybody open because he's going to keep running back. You have that strong arm, just throw the ball away. And instead, he tries to roll out even more, and then by the time it's too late, he just shuffles it forward about 10 yards shy of the line of scrimmage, and that ends up being a huge intentional grounding play that results in a 2nd and 29 and basically kills this drive. If right here he had just thrown it away, it's only first down. You still have all 3 timeouts. Just throw the ball away. You have the arm to do it. In fact, that was one thing I really liked about him, is sometimes I didn't really show it. You'll see a few of them in the final highlights. He does a really good job of escaping pressure, and even when being off balance, if he pushes off a defender or something like that, he can bomb it 25 yards down, out of bounds, and avoid intentional grounding very often. But this time he doesn't. This is just a mental lapse. He should have just thrown it away right there, and instead he tries to make something happen. What was he going to make happen there? I have no idea. Here's another one now. I will say, looking at this over and over again, it is both a horrible decision and a very, very, very impressive throw. But you'll notice here, he's staring him down again, throws the ball, one defender right there, manages to get it by him, double coverage right here. Now watch this. It still gets in the receiver's hands, and he ends up dropping it. If he caught that, this might have ended up in the ridiculous throws segment instead, back when I said, you know, or the tight window segment instead. But that doesn't change the fact that he tried to lace it past 1, 2, 3 defenders. More often than not, especially against NFL defenders, that's going to result in a turnover or at the very least an incomplete pass. Not to take away from the fact that is a ridiculous throw, a ridiculously perfect throw when it comes to accuracy, but you're not going to make that throw every time. It could have been intercepted right here, and it could have been intercepted right there. He's lucky that he got it past both of them. Really strong arm allows him to take some risks like that. And you know what? This is where I kind of wish I saw the situation, because if this was a 4th down and 13, then I change my mind, and that's an amazing throw. But if this is 1st and 10, that's a horrible throw, horrible decision. So I guess this one Really, I wish I could contextualize more. I should have taken the other angle, and at this point it's too late. I'm already almost done with this video. But, a little bit of both. Right there, this play kind of defines what Josh Allen is, if you ask me. Here's another one. This one's very bad. He's running. He throws it off his back foot. Notice there is pressure coming, but he still has plenty of time to roll out and reset his feet. Instead, he throws it too early, stares his receiver down, and looky here. What do we have right here? We have future first-round cornerback prospect Josh Jackson, who I've done a video on. Talked about his instincts. Talked about his ability to read the defense. You don't want to challenge him like that, especially throwing an off-balance throw. And spoiler alert, Josh Jackson ends up jumping the route and picks the ball off. If Allen had instead rolled out, maybe tried to use he had so much open space. Now again, it is 21-3, he's trying to force something, fourth quarter, I guess I understand. But, the pressure is coming, but there's still not that much. There was no reason for him to make this throw it off his back foot. He could have rolled up, reset his feet, maybe found another target, and instead he tried way too hard, way too early, and ends up throwing a costly turnover. That basically was the game. Not that it wasn't already out of reach, but that really sealed the deal right there. Here's another one. This isn't so much a bad decision as it is just a really bad throw, but I figured I'd throw it in. He's off balance, and the one time he does decide to put some touch on his throw, he puts way too much and basically throws it right to this defender right here. He had his running back. You got to get it over that defender. That's not an easy throw to make, but if you throw it out here a little bit, you give your running back some space on third down. Now, there's barely any time left in this game. I can kind of see how Josh Allen maybe mentally checked out of this game at this point. It's understandable. You're on the road, but you can't just throw it right into the defensive lineman's face. That's just not good, and the ball gets picked off. Here's another one right here. Who was he throwing the ball to? I would like the smartest NFL expert that is watching this video, if for some reason they are, a former quarterback, a former defensive back, a former coach, somebody to explain to me who he was throwing the ball to. This is ridiculous coverage. If he was throwing the ball to him, then wow, what an overthrow. Plus, he's covered anyway. He literally just threw the ball to a defensive back. Who was he throwing the ball to? This is the worst by far, and this is the difference. I've seen Lamar Jackson overthrow some receivers. I've seen Sam Darnold, miss some flat throws, whatever, and I've seen some mistakes from the other quarterbacks. But what was this throw? Who was he throwing the ball to? I will never know. Maybe someone can explain to me. Either way, that was a really bad decision. I don't know. And again, now it is the fourth quarter. They're down now. This game got out of hand. I get it, but I don't get that. That was one of the worst throws I've ever seen in my life. So thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. I know it's tough to tell how I feel about Allen based on everything I've said about him. I have a second round grade on him. Now that might change after I look at some of these other quarterbacks. I've heard some really good things about Lauletta out of Richmond, for example, but I need to see more, obviously. I don't really only watch him in the Senior Bowl so far. I've got a lot of tape to watch. We're still a few months away from the draft. But again, Josh Allen, if you ask me, yes, he has flaws, and some more noticeable flaws than the other quarterbacks, but he didn't have the benefit of working with a top-class organization, a top-class recruiting coaching staff with top-class talent around him. If you took Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield and switched their scenarios from the beginning, they both might be having completely different careers and both might be having completely different opinions on how they would be as draft prospects. Imagine putting Josh Allen with his arm in the hands of Mike Riley at Oklahoma. I believe that's the coach at Oklahoma right now. If I'm wrong, someone sue me. I'm not sure. Anyway, yes, he has flaws again, like I said, and he might end up being a huge bust. I think Darnold's a lot safer. I think Rosen and Darnold are both just a league above him when it comes to safeness and abilities. But when you look at the good from Josh Allen, there's too much to ignore to where, again, just give him a year or two to sit back, regain his confidence, work on reps, work on consistently throwing some of these accurate throws, and you could end up seeing a real star. He absolutely, by the way, has the ability to be the best quarterback out of this class. I don't have the guts to predict that. I'm going to go safe and say Darnold. But if you ask me, upside, he's right up there. Darnold 1. And then if you ask me, Allen and Lamar Jackson are both 1A and 1B for different reasons. I personally would take Allen because his arm is so ridiculous, and some of those throws he made on the run were absolutely absurd. And then the real kicker, because I think Lamar Jackson has so many creative, interesting, unique qualities as well, The difference is Lamar Jackson still feels like a little bit more of an injury risk until he bulks up a little bit. That's really the only difference, but they're both very close. Second round grades on both of them. I'll take Allen slightly ahead. Thanks again, guys. Follow us on Twitter at TheMadmanSports. Go to our website. Just kidding, we don't have a website. Follow me on Twitter at BSUL21. Hit that big red subscribe button. Tremaine Edmonds, the stud 19-year-old linebacker from Virginia Tech, is up next on the list. Hopefully get that out for you soon. Thanks again.